Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom. Welcome to day 17 of our Supersize You annual challenge. Today we are talking about step 4 of our soap framework. I should grab one of my little bars. I like to show off my little soap framework bars. I've been using these since 2020. During the pandemic is kind of where I came up with this soap framework. We're on step 4 today. Step 4 stands for progress. How on earth are we going to know if we are moving from where we are to what we want in the area that we're looking at and working on today? Now, some things are really, really easy to measure, and we just know we've already arrived and we've gotten from where we were to where we want to be, and that becomes our new normal, and then we want to go further than that because that's how we human beings work. We always want to be improving and growing and expanding and having a bigger impact on the world around us. At least if you're listening to me, you do. So I think about, how am I going to measure if I'm becoming the best possible version of myself or not? Usually when we're measuring something, we want it to go from where we are to success immediately in a nice straight line. I'm going to tell you, if you think that that's how it really happens, you're kind of in for a rude awakening and setbacks, because it isn't. This is more like how success happens in each of the different areas and aspects of our life. Let me see if I can find the one that is actually, well, and then combined, it's all personal growth and development, right? Like this is the average trajectory of all the different areas and aspects of our life, going from where we are to where we want to be. It's how I represent it for myself, and it's how I remind myself that some things are not actually graphable and measurable. So how do we go about measuring and tracking those things? Some of the things I do, so I'm for this particular challenge, becoming the best possible version of myself, a continually improving version of myself. Well, how am I going to measure that? How do I know if I've gone from, okay, I'm still pretty self-critical and judgy of myself. I try not to judge other people, but I sure judge myself harshly. How do I get rid of that? How do I know I've gotten rid of that? Well, a couple things I like to do. Number one, I like to try to spend more time living in the present moment. I don't know about you, but I, for the longest time, lived either reliving the past, and those things were the memories and the things going through my head, or worried and concerned about the future. Guess what? If I'm worried and concerned about the future, am I creating the future I actually want, or am I creating the future I don't want? Well, I found from personal experience, it's creating what I don't want. So if I can get rid of those emotions, we're going to talk about this year, and quickly and easily, tips, tricks, and strategies of how to do that, right? But one of the things I like to do is I like to make sure I am actually living in the present moment, because a lot of time in the past, I was not doing that. And if I'm not living in the present moment, it's just happening based on all the thoughts I've had in the past up to this point. Those are the results I start getting. And I notice now, if the results I'm getting are not what I want, if I have a conversation that goes south and it just doesn't go the way I thought it was going to go, I don't beat myself up about it. I stop, take a pause, and I ask myself, okay, what happened? What could I have done or said, or how could I have responded better to get a better result? Because the only person I can control in anything is me. So I like to take a pause and pay attention to what I'm thinking about, because as soon as we notice what we're thinking about, if it's something negative, those thoughts can be dissipated and replaced with something that feels better for us. So how do I track that? How do I keep track of, am I making progress? Am I spending more time in the present moment? Am I spending more time being the best possible version of myself and becoming the best possible version of myself? Or am I just going through the motions of life? Because we all get sucked into that sometimes, right? Sometimes, everything's chaotic and crazy, and we join in the crazy instead of stepping back and saying, deep breath. Deep breaths are amazingly powerful, by the way. And then just pulling ourselves back and saying, okay, wait a minute. Let's look at this differently. How can I have a different perspective? How can I have a different way of seeing what's actually going on here? So I be present. I rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being, I'm here, I'm right now, I'm paying attention, I'm hearing, seeing, thinking, feeling, and engaging with the human beings I'm with. 1 being, I'm off in my own little mind, la la land, and I'm not really involved in what's going on around me at all. I learned this not being involved strategy a long, long time ago when I was in a bad relationship, and when I was doing activities that I didn't really love, I would replace them with, reading, paying attention to things, building businesses, etc. So I will be keeping a journal specifically for a separate one than my daily book, because I'm doing both Supersize Your Business and Supersize You in this journal, or just for tracking and creating the daily content. I'll be keeping a separate journal that keeps track of how I'm feeling, moods, setting an intention in the morning, and then for maybe one specific thing. And then at the end of the day, did I actually behave in that way, or do that thing, or feel that way, or choose this, or turn things around, etc. Because it's subjective. And so by writing about it, I make it more objective. By rating it on a scale of 1 to 10, I make it more objective. And that helps my engineering nerd brain to process things more readily. You need to pick some way to measure and some way to know if you're making progress or not that works for you. It might not be journaling. It might not be tapping in. It might not be being present. It depends what your thing is. If it's measurable, freaking just measure it. So for example, in Supersize Your Business, I am doing a new community on the school platform. It's totally measurable by number of members, by MMR or MRR, monthly recurring revenue, they call it on that platform. So by MRR, so by money coming in, by churn, how many people come in and then go, because if more people go each month than come in, then I've got a churn problem and I need to turn that around. Right now my churn is really, really good and really, really low. I've actually kicked people out of the membership because of inappropriate behavior, meaning they spam or they're just there to promote themselves, and that's not conducive to what we're creating in that community. Or there's a new rating system, so when people request membership, it will say high spam alert, and you'll have big warning sign. Those people, guess what? They don't get into the group. They don't get into the community. I have zero time and zero tolerance for that. All right, I've actually kicked more people out than I've let in the last month and a half. It's kind of sad, but that's on me because of the things I need to do. Anyway, that's it. Today we are going to come up with and share in the comments below one way that you will measure the area that you're trying to make progress in, the area that you're working on. Again, it'll be a whole bunch of different things for each and every one of us, and that's okay. But it might, I want you to share because it might give somebody else an idea of oh my gosh, I didn't think of that. I could do that too. It might give me an idea of how I can measure different things too. So appreciate you participating and engaging and sharing the one thing you're going to measure. And I say keep it simple, because over the course of this year, we're going to go through all 9 areas of the life framework. And we don't want to have 9 different key performance indicators or measures that we're looking at all the time. It gets overwhelming. And what I like about the SOAP framework is it's really just a short-term thing. I don't have to measure it forever. I just want to touch in with myself on some frequency to make sure that either what I've done has got me to where I want to go, or that I'm making progress toward that. Hope that makes sense. If not, please just ask. Have an awesome day, and I'll of course be with you tomorrow.